Luna, you and I have something in common.
Yes.
You and I made some rather definitive declarations about Campaign 4.
What are you talking about? No, I didn't. There is no evidence of that anywhere.
Yes, certainly not cut into this video right now.
Guys, I'm just going to say it. It is going to be Daggerheart. You know, I'm a little flabbergasted that some people are still holding on to this idea that it's going to be D&D. It isn't. I don't know. Let's say I'll donate $100 to the Critical Role Foundation if I'm wrong.
And certainly I never said anything either that people now comment and say, this aged well. Just like it's going to change when they move on to Campaign 4, and they definitely play in Daggerheart. I don't know why anyone thinks that they're not going to play in Daggerheart for Campaign 4. For some reason, people believe that, and that's crazy. So, in the, it is a bit of a way for us to acknowledge our miscalculation, we'll say. I thought it would be fun for us to get together on a call, take a look. This is, we're recording this about a week before Campaign 4 premieres. And I figured we're going to take a look at whatever they'd put out about the characters so far and maybe just wildly speculate. What do we think they're going to be playing? And I waited, I scheduled this call and I said, let's wait until like right before the Campaign 4 starts because I want to see what other promotional sort of things they put out. Like with Campaign 2, we got the silhouettes. With Age of Umbra, we got the little miniatures. So my second failed prediction is I didn't know they were going to just tell us all the characters.
Yeah, they're just like, hey, here's all the character art. Go crazy.
And I totally get, in hindsight, why they did that. It's another part of the promotion to be like, hey, we know we're changing a lot of stuff. We want you to be excited about this, and also to know whether or not you're interested. Here are some characters. Let us know if this seems like your thing. But they kind of screwed with my plan, which was to sit here and go, there's absolutely no way Matt Mercer is not playing a dwarf bard. It'll absolutely happen, and there's no one that can convince me otherwise. Well, the Critical Role social media account might be able to convince me otherwise, because he's clearly not a dwarf.
No. Yes. I know. It's really exciting to get so many details. But also, it's interesting because I watched the Fireside Chat with Marisha and Travis, and they did say that they specifically didn't want to put out any, setting introduction videos or anything like that because they wanted everyone to kind of be on an even footing, not having to do homework to get into it, which I think is really smart because they sort of said about Campaign 3, oh, anybody can watch this. And then that absolutely ended up being so many connections to previous campaign, more than ever before. Yeah. So I think that is kind of smart. But yeah, it's exciting to get the character art and to get some class confirmations we have for sure. And yeah, I'm excited.
And the rest we can kind of speculate about. Yeah, Campaign 3 very much was an Exandria victory lap, which, fair enough. They're recording cartoons about those other characters, so of course they're on their minds. They want to sort of bring them back into the fold. But this is a blank slate, and I do really like that we're not getting a Exandria style, here's the history of Exandria, now you can watch the campaign. I want to experience that stuff natively, just like the players are. So and they probably know a little bit more than us from Session 0 and things like that. But it has also been interesting to watch people sort of react to this data and jump to conclusions. Like when Brennan, and this is not me throwing shade on anybody, but
that's my whole bag is jumping to conclusions.
but you frame your show specifically as a theorizing show. That is part of the fun. Whereas I think others are just reporting the news and they're like, oh, well, of course, and we know this. And I'm like, I don't think we know that. That's a huge leap to make. When they say, when Brennan said one of the big inspirations was he had the idea for what if the orcs rose up against Sauron, right? What is it sort of that feeling of rebellion and resistance? And I've seen people talk about this campaign as if it's going to be an orc-centric setting. And I was like, I don't think I'm with you on that one. Or when they're like, well, clearly Matt Mercer's character is going to be a despicable human being because Aabria said she wants to murder him. And I was like, I don't know if that's what she meant. Maybe he is. Maybe he's a ghastly human being, or maybe he's Gilderoy Lockhart, and it's sort of just a pompous prick and really got under her skin, and we don't have enough context to make a huge leap like that. So that being said,
did you watch that little anti-Mercer video where they all do talk about how his character is an absolute piece of work?
Yes. With that being said, the day we're recording this, they did put out a video that basically was all of them going, wow, Matt Mercer's character is a real scumbag. And I was like, okay, now I think we can make an educated guess that maybe he is a scumbag. I don't think we had enough information for that previously.
Totally, yeah. And also this idea of like, they're just so good at the nuance and the gray areas, you know? So he's going to start out as a scumbag. I'm sure we're going to go on a massive journey with all of these characters like we always do every campaign, you know? So who knows how it's going to end up. We're all going to be sobbing our eyes out when he, like, I don't know, sacrifices himself to save someone or whatever it is.
There have absolutely been characters in the past that people, critical role characters that people have really disliked and have won people over with some really powerful scenes. So I am ready for Matt Mercer to take as long as he wants to manipulate us however he wants to. But my ultimate point is that it's just difficult because we just don't have enough context to speculate.
Yes.
Now, that being said, let's speculate.
Let's speculate. And I think that's the point, right? It is fun. I think that's a really good reminder. Some people, I think, get really serious about speculation. They're like, well, you can't possibly think that. You know, they get very invested, I think, in things already. And like, I know that literally everything that comes out of my mouth is probably going to be disproven. I have really eaten my cake. Eaten my hat in the last few months. So yeah, it's all in good fun. We're
doing this video so that we can collect a whole bunch of bad guesses, so that people don't have to comment on other videos and be like,
"That's right."
Hey, you said this. No. We know. We know we're gonna be wrong about stuff. That's okay. We're already wrong about the fact that we know more than we expected to by the time we recorded this video. So. Yeah. We're fully prepared for that.
We can go fully back to campaign 3 where I was like, look, guys, Travis isn't playing a werewolf. I know you all thought he was going to play a werewolf. I'm so sorry. It's clearly he's not. He's playing a no. I'm sorry, guys. And then, you know. Yeah, so we're going to do that again here.
I remember being wrong about every character in campaign 2. Every single one. Which player was which silhouette. It was a clean failure across the board.
Yeah.
In every way. So... Here, I want to sort of like think about what predictions we might have had going into this. Because like I said, I was like fully like, Matt's going to be a bard dwarf because that's the character. He so clearly loves dwarves. He so clearly loves bards. That, to me, at least, that feels very obvious. And it doesn't seem like he's either. He could be a bard. I think that is possible, but that doesn't seem to be the case. I had no idea which way like Laura and Travis were going to go at this point. I'm a little surprised that Sam's character is not a tiny little dude.
Yes, I know. Like for the first time, not being a tiny little dude. Well, at least in a main campaign.
Marisha, I don't know what I really expected from Marisha. I kind of expected wizard for Aabria, but I wasn't sure, and it does seem like I'm wrong about that as well.
Yeah,
I didn't really know what to think for Taliesin.
I think you can't ever make any guesses about Taliesin because you just, who knows what we're going to get. It's interesting because I've always thought that Liam would want to play the tragedy bard, which is the critical role subclass.
Yes.
Because it feels so suited to him. And I think maybe there is still a chance, but I don't know. Taliesin is giving off pretty massive tragedy bard vibes with his theatrical mask.
Some sleuths on the internet paused in one of the early videos the first announcement that there were all these people joining the campaign, and they saw a screenshot, or that they saw a picture of a whiteboard that had some names and some classes and some species next to them, and we just didn't know who anyone was yet, but now we have names. So if we consider that admissible evidence, it sounds like Boltaire, Taliesin's character, is a warlock.
Ah, interesting.
A high elf warlock, I believe.
Yeah. It's almost like, I know that this is not Exandria, but just the red hair is such a flag for me. It's like, Artigan.
I know.
I'm like, no, calm down. It's a different world. They're not going to do that to us. Maybe.
I also,
who knows?
This is the most Taliesin Jaffe character that's ever existed. He exists to offer gifts to and torture for cosplayers.
Yeah, I was just going to say that. The cosplayers are going to be eating this up. Yeah.
But I also love, it seems like his backstory is kind of like a Needful Things. Like, he seems like he runs basically one of those cursed antique shops from that the devil is always running, which I love as a warlock backstory so deeply. I don't know whether he was a warlock and then he got the shop, or whether, and that's like part of his deal, or whether he was a shop owner and then he found some magic item there that cursed him or gave him the bond, but I love it already as like a really interesting prompt, and I'm really excited to see what he does with that.
Yes, yeah, I can really see him leaning into that warlock patron relationship hard.
Yeah, because we haven't really seen anything like that since, well, I mean, arguably Caduceus with the Wild Mother, but really what I was going to say is Percy with Orthax, which was a very shrewd relationship that he didn't know anything about.
Yes.
And it does seem like he's probably packed at the blade since he's got this weird
Cool
spectral rapier next to him.
That. Yeah.
Travis said in his video that he is a paladin.
Yay! I love paladins so much.
So glad we are getting a paladin from starting level that is not a multi-class. We just needed it. Like, we didn't need it. It's their game. They can do whatever they want. But
we demand it.
We demand it. But it's always been, and we're also finally getting a dwarf PC, which is Marisha. But it is it's a little surprising this paladin doesn't have any weapons. I was initially thinking it might be a monk, but
that's really true.
paladin.
Actually, I didn't notice that didn't make that connection. It does look kind of like a monk, armor, but super
but the armor on his body doesn't say monk, but the wrappings on his arms do.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah, that kind of wrapped look. I wonder what this disc is on, like hanging from the belt situation. Maybe it's one of like a throwy thing.
It could be a throwy thing. It could be a holy symbol like the one he's, I assume, holding in his hand. Well, because that's the interesting thing too, is we are in a post-gods world in this setting. So we're going to see what happens. Clearly we know we have a paladin. And that has been something that I think in the Matt and Brennan fireside chats, I think that's when it was, they talked about how like some people are going to be experimenting to see if they can just use their own sheer force of will to generate power, and whether you can be a cleric and a paladin without that. But certainly the rules of D&D suggest that's the case, but is that necessarily the case in Ahriman? We don't know yet.
Yeah, and we have seen that before, like with Xerxes in Calamity was like a paladin of the city, like not necessarily of a god. So I do think that that's interesting. I mean, just quickly, since you brought it up, definitely have to be interested in the fact that we're having a post-god story given everything that happened, and it's just interesting how many times that theme pops up in fantasy stories of like the gods are gone, it's
Dragonlance, it's Age of Umbra. I think there may be another Daggerheart campaign frame that's the same way. If I don't have it in front of me, but I think there is another one where it's like kind of either post gods or the gods are like not involved. I might be making that up, but definitely Age of Umbra, Dragonlance, and now Ahriman, just off the top of our heads. I'm sure people can think of more.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, so I think it's a really nice way to have that kind of magical divine feeling in the world without necessarily being like, we can go and actually see the gods, which obviously we saw in earlier campaigns. I prefer, I think, that more distance. Yeah, so I enjoy it as a theme.
This is within living memory. Like, this will be legend, not just legend. This will be like actual what these characters, some of these, maybe not these characters, but their parents or their grandparents experienced in their lives.
Yeah, it's only 70 years, right? So that's, for some races, that's... Or
that's
some
not
species,
that long ago.
right? Yeah, it's not that long ago.
Yeah. So it'll be very interesting to see what... but I'm very excited to see Travis as... And also we have Pridesire, which feels like a very sort of... First of all, great Leonin paladin name. Just right off the bat. Very strong name. But it also... it tells us a lot about, I think, sort of whatever family dynamic he's coming from, which I'm really interested in. Like, what does that look like?
I wonder if he doesn't have a weapon because, he's not able to access those paladin powers.
Yeah, I don't know.
That'd be interesting. But then I don't know. That's fun.
So then we have Whitney Moore as Tyranny, and we also have a little sunburst embroidered into her clothing a couple different times. So you could argue maybe cleric or a divine soul sorcerer, which that's in D&D 2024, right? I should have that up in front of me, actually.
Is it? I'm not sure. I'm playing in a D&D 2024 game, but I'm really still not across a lot of the changes. I just know about my little subclass.
Your little corner of it?
Yeah,
that's completely fine.
It definitely does say cleric to me, but I also wonder how much of that is influenced just by knowing Jester, because there's some Jester vibes, and the way people have described Whitney's character is like a wild card, chaotic. So I think that just put that link together in my mind.
There is not a
so cute.
divine soul sorcerer in D&D 2024 Player's Handbook. That being said, they did get the guy who wrote it, so probably wouldn't be hard to get him to update a version for 2024 if you wanted to.
Absolutely.
But it also, like we said, it could be a cleric. We don't have any armor on the figure, so that's a little interesting. But
we know she's a demon. That's right.
Yes.
Not devil, right? Because she corrects.
I believe that's
demon.
right. Yes.
Yes, I'm 100% going to get that wrong so many times in my videos. I'm just ready for it. So wondering, what this backstory is. I mean, a name like Tyranny paired with this adorable little creature is interesting.
Very interesting, yes.
Yeah.
I could wildly speculate.
Go ahead.
I wonder if she is a little bit of a figure of faith character where she's not born to a tiefling family. And so she sort of has this sort of trappings, but this new identity that's manifested. That's just my, off the top of my head sort of elements. I don't know.
Yeah, that's fun. Yeah, I feel like I haven't... correct me if I'm wrong, but no, I don't think we've seen that all that much. Like a tiefling that's just been born into a non-tiefling family in Critical Role.
I don't think so.
I don't think so. So,
well, we don't really know what Molly Mock's family situation was, so it's possible, but it certainly wasn't a plot point of.
No, that's right. Yeah, and he didn't know them as far as I remember.
She also could be a celestial patron warlock. Which we have another tiefling warlock wild card, which would be interesting. But you know what? They've if they feel like it's a different enough character, I'm sure they would have caught it and said like, well, we've done that already.
Yeah. Yeah. What about? I mean, she's got the moon phase. It could also circle of the moon druid. The outfit's not really druidy, but that doesn't mean anything necessarily.
I would love to see more druids get coded as something other than poison ivy. So if she is a druid, I would be very, very happy about that.
Yeah, especially
that's certainly not the read I get, but you're right. There's no reason she couldn't be.
Especially, think about they're creating a new city, which they sort of confirmed in the fireside chat, which is the name that's on the whiteboard. Dulmakia is the name of the city that they're going to be starting in. Which they sort of confirmed. Well, Marisha was like, we're building the city Dulmakia. And then she's like, wait, we've said that, haven't we? We've already revealed that. And I don't think they had. But it was written on the whiteboard behind Brennan. So, you can think about, what does a city druid look like? It doesn't necessarily have to be, like you say, like a poison ivy
which they almost always are.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, what does a druid who takes care of the city parks look like? That could be.
But that being said, I think we do have a druid based on another name that was on the whiteboard, which is Thaisha. So it seems like Aabria is going to be a druid. Yeah,
I love this look. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Can I also just say this was a personal wish of mine, and I am happy to have seen at least some evidence of it. But I just liked seeing some thick people on. Yeah. In this campaign, I love all the characters always, but it's just when it's the same kind of similar body types over and over again, it's so nice to see some people with some bigger hips and some bigger boobs and some thicker arms that are not necessarily muscle arms. I really appreciate it. So Aabria's character is one. I think also just Aabria is so tall and her presence is so commanding, and I really feel like this character has that vibe too.
Yes.
Yeah.
And she's described her as sort of, she was expecting at least to play sort of the more kindly den mother type. Which is nice. It's not a dynamic we usually get to see from orcs. Is sort of an older orc who isn't a grizzled warrior or or even in the case of something like Critical Role where we had the old man in the shack who was filled with regrets. That sort of has so often been the vibe. We rarely get to see joyous elderly orcs in fiction. Now, granted, it's hard to find joyous elderly people in a lot of fantasy worlds. Sometimes that is just not really conducive to elderly life. But I like this dynamic. I think it's going to be really interesting to see what happens now. Wildly speculating. I don't know what level they're starting at, but presumably they have level 3 because they have some subclass stuff with some of them. Or at least they're going to hint at future subclasses. I'm not sure. Or no. Yeah. Pact of the Blade, that's not a subclass, so never mind. We might not, that's a pact boon, which I don't know what level you get that at. Because I don't know anything about warlocks. Because y'all are crazy with your lack of spell slots. I don't know what you guys are doing. Yeah, so you get your Eldritch Invocations. That's what the term is in level 1. So yeah, these characters could be lower than level 3, which I always like. I always like to see them at lower levels. But if we are to speculate on a subclass for what is it, Thaisha? Thaisha,
yeah.
Land, moon, sea, and stars. I'm not getting stars from her.
No. I think...
Land would probably fit this character the best based on what I'm seeing.
Yeah, I think so as well. It does have a little bit of a piratey vibe, so sea could maybe also work. I don't know. Something about the outfit is a little piratey to me, but I think...
Oh, sure. I see the stripes. Yeah.
Yeah, the stripes and the sort of pantaloons But I'm excited to see what Aabria will do as a druid, because she is just like a top-notch mechanics queen.
Yes.
Like watching her play in Calamity was just so incredible, and like seeing her flow chart of like how she plans her actions and things. So I think, druids have so much interesting AoE effects, buffing, obviously wild shaping, like all that stuff is going to be fun, I think. Yeah,
that's going to be a really, really interesting pairing. I hadn't really thought about all the potential that offers until you put it that way. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Let's go with a character who we haven't heard the class for, at least to my knowledge, which is Marisha's character, Murray Magnuson.
I already love this character so much. I just a bearded dwarf lady. I'm so excited to see a beard on her. Like
I'm still just excited that we're getting a dwarf PC main character, which is something that we have not seen in 10, 11 years. The only guest PCs have been like Keg, like we got maybe one or two. Matt as Dariax, so main cast member of the side show. So, close to it, but no one in the main cast that we've been following this whole time has ever played a dwarf at all. And I'm so glad to see.
Sorry to interrupt. Marisha did say today in the Fireside chat that she is going to attempt the Scottish accent, which I think is going to be really fun.
So that was my next comment. Is I think it is so funny that it is Marisha who, in episode 1 of Critical Role, got burned so bad for trying to play a dwarf specifically.
Oh.
Which is just really fun to be like, okay, take 2.
Yep.
Now,
what do I think of this class? Because to me, I don't know. The little triangles just immediately scream bard to me. The little, what do you call that print? I can't remember what you call it, but
checkered.
It's very
no, not checkered, because that's
like Harlequin, maybe.
Yeah, that's sort of Harlequin.
Yeah.
So I have been thinking bard for most of the time I've seen this image for the past whatever it is, half a month. Sitting here watching it, like sitting here looking at it, I for the first time thought, wizard.
Yeah, the little eyeglass is a really interesting detail. It's whether it's just like nodding to, especially because in 2024, your tool proficiencies have a lot more utility.
True.
Because you can do things, with your actual tools specifically. So maybe it's like jeweler's tools or something like that.
Could be. Into
the character portrait. She has this like little diamond drop off the hat as well. Mm-hmm. Yeah, wizard could be really cool. Artificer, I don't know.
Artificer's the other one I've been debating as well. I don't know enough about the Artificer, but I know there's one that just came out through playtest material through the not the Void. That's Daggerheart, the Unearthed Arcana. So it depends when they started this campaign. If they whipped up their own version of the Artificer. I don't remember when the Artificer came out for Unearthed Arcana, but. Certainly that is not a barrier once you have Crawford and Perkins on the team. Yeah. So, but
exactly.
you have the jeweler's tools can be your arcane implement as a artificer, so that would still be compatible if I remember correctly. People let me know in the comments if I'm wrong. But I also like the idea that the little claw on her finger could be a spellcasting component or a material component or a wand or arcane focus is the term I'm looking for.
Oh,
but that also could be the diamond on her hat or the eyeglasses. Like there's a lot of potential here, but I do kind of think it's an arcane caster.
Yeah. Oh, that would be really fun. I'm trying to remember. Somebody posted in my Discord. It was ages ago, and I saved it, but now I can't remember where. That apparently Luiz dropped like a table, like who was on the table, he was playing in a group with.
Oh,
did you see
I've
that?
not seen this.
Let me see if I can find it. Because I'm pretty sure Marisha was on that table, and people were speculating that it was the soldiers' table. Yeah, it was in like a comment on an Instagram post or something. Oh, here we go. Oh, so he wrote, at Marisha Ray is the true tank, so excited to play regularly with Taliesin, Matt, and you again.
Okay, so it sounds like we have a table then.
Yeah.
So it's
Tank
Taliesin,
is interesting,
Matt.
is whether that's just her force of personality as a person or whether it's related to her character.
He said role-playing tank?
You know, he just said is the true tank.
Yeah, weird. I actually realized something on editing this video, that we do know that Luiz used to play D&D with Matt, and I believe Taliesin and Marisha both did as well, so it's possible he was referring to playing with them regularly again, in the sense that he used to play with them and is now getting the opportunity to do so. That being said, the true tank is a really interesting bit of detail, and we are going to continue to speculate on that for a little bit, so enjoy. Could this be a fighter? Or not a monk. Marisha wouldn't play another monk.
Now I'm like,
what a
looking through the Reddit
fascinating... Now that I'm thinking, like, what if this is a barbarian? What a fascinating choice that would be.
Ooh, yeah. I mean, I guess you can absolutely play on, like, I guess maybe tank is, like, if they're just doing a lot of damage, wizards could maybe work for... yeah, I don't know.
That's sort of the opposite. Tank. They are not tanks. They are glass cannons.
No. Yeah. I guess it depends what he meant as a tank, you know? Like, whether he meant actually in the game, you know, taking a lot of damage, or if he was just talking about how Marisha... I mean, she carries a lot of the company as the creative director, so it also could just be related to her work in the company in general.
True. It could just be her as, like, the leader of that group. We don't know.
But yeah, so if we've got... No, so I think people were speculating about it being the soldiers' table because of the word tank. But if we've got Taliesin, Matt, we haven't looked at Luiz's character. Maybe that's a good time to.
No, let's look. I mean, we've only looked at two of those groups, so we can look at Matt's and we can look at Luiz's. Let's look at his first. Azune Nayar.
So many people are gonna fall in love with this character art.
Yes. Oh, I mean, no, he's terrific.
Maybe I've done that a little myself. This looks like it would be an Eldritch Knight kind of situation?
Oh, could be. I was thinking a Storm Cleric.
Oh, yeah, that makes more sense because they've got sort of some lightning. Yeah.
Oh, we don't have Storm Cleric, and well, again, that may not be a barrier to these folks. We don't have a fairy in the core rulebook, but we have one in the party. So let's assume that they're drawing inspiration from this book, but as has been the case, they are not afraid to deviate. I've seen Paladin speculated as well, which is possible still.
Yeah.
But I've gotten Storm vibe from this the whole time. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, he had that detail about his eyes, the bottom half being blue like the ocean and the upper half being like the sun. So
that's true. The horizon.
Could be some
There's a line on where the sky meets the sea and it calls me. That could be very much at play with his eyes. Mm-hmm.
I wonder.
I love his sort of like uniform. He really does seem like he just stepped off the battlefield, which I think is why you went Eldritch Knight. Yeah,
I just kind of felt that vibe.
Which is absolutely on the table. This could be the lightning on his hands to send me in a different direction, but that could be a signature weapon very easily.
Yeah, Eldritch Knights are so fun. I've only played them in a one shot, but it's just really fun to hit stuff and be able to cast spells.
Right.
It's really good.
Yeah, this could be. He could just have Shocking Grasp, which we don't know.
Yeah,
that's one I had not considered. Is this like a burn on his face?
That's what I'm wondering too, if it's a birthmark or a burn. It's very similar color to the color of his hair.
It is. It does look like just a burn across his side, and potentially goes down his neck as well. Though that might just be shadow. That may just be the. The zooming in may just take away the nuance, unfortunately, because it is from social media. But social media flattening nuance couldn't be. But he does also have some scars across his other cheek, which is interesting. We definitely has battle scars, so I definitely see the possibility that this was a soldier formerly who is either still a soldier, and then maybe not in the soldier table, but his backstory could still be soldier.
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of interesting to think about which players would want to play on which table too, because I think some of them do have really distinct play styles, and they might want to go to certain... Like, I feel like Liam on the Seekers table would 100% make sense to me.
Yeah. Well, Marisha on the Seekers table. Honestly, Marisha, Matt, and Taliesin would all make the most sense for me on the Seekers table. The idea that they're not would be very surprising, but they may have other desires. And these are not going to be fixed, forever tables. They're going to mix things up. Right. So
yeah.
But you assume that the lore master, I guess that's Danny Carr. That's actually a term that someone in their company has. But the ultimate notes taker would probably want to be seeking out knowledge, but she may want to break.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, yeah. And also, like, I think Travis is also super into the lore, and I think sometimes that kind of doesn't get seen as much because he isn't always taking notes and stuff, but he's like always the first to react on a lore drop. If someone drops the name of something that hasn't been for ages, he's always the one on the side going like this, and he's pretty quick on that stuff too. So I could absolutely see him being interested in seeking things out.
I mean, it also depends on what ideas they had for characters and where they want to take those characters.
Yeah, definitely.
It's very reasonable that Marisha would say, "Listen, normally I like to seek things out, but I want to play a himbo equivalent," which I'm not going to use the term for a lady, but like I want to play like someone who's a little bit more checked out, more Dariax style.
Yeah.
That would be completely on the table. Speaking of Dariax, let's pivot over to Matt Mercer, Sir Julien Davinos, who we arguably know the most about. Seems like he's a shitty little dude.
Apparently spits on a corpse within the first episode. So
apparently, this is what they tell us.
He does look like... Yeah, there's something in the character expression. Yeah, I think he's going to be a bit of a piece of shit in the first instance. He looks like he comes from a rich family.
Yes, definitely does.
The vibe I get.
Looks a little bit edgelordy.
Yeah.
In ways I was not expecting until I actually zoomed in and saw, like, he's not drawn like the suave adventurer. He's drawn like a shitty little dude.
Yes, but his clothes look so fine. I mean, they all do, because as well, it's like, they all look really beautiful. But like, yeah, something about the clothes. Yeah, I think it's going to be maybe like a bit of a smooth operator kind of a vibe, but only out for his own benefit, maybe.
That is a good point. We have these characters, a lot of whom are in a lot of finery, which is very different from previous campaigns. We did not have this many people dressed this nicely from jump in the past.
And yeah, I wonder if it's because it is influenced. So yeah, Marisha had mentioned, I think it was in that fireside chat, that the set is much more reflective of the setting. It's much more reflective of the city that they're starting in. And that set is really light and beautiful and regal. And, so maybe they are all starting from a place of affluence, or at least living in a city that is prosperous. And then potentially, we've got these stirrings of rebellion and, do you hear the falcons cry? Maybe they're going to be pulled from that world into something a little grittier. Yeah.
Now, a speculation I've seen about Julien is swashbuckler rogue.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, again, they could always surprise us. Maybe he's a barbarian. Who knows? Certainly last time we weren't expecting Dariax to be a sorcerer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But I could easily see this being a rogue.
Yeah,
and
definitely.
The come weapon, at me, bro.
Yeah, the stance. Yeah, even just, he's got like a Three Musketeers kind of a look about him. Yeah, the hair, the locks. Yeah, the tresses.
But the come at me feels very in keeping with the mechanics of this swashbuckler, which is I just want to fight you side by side, like one-on-one. I don't want anybody else around us. I want to solo you, basically. Yeah, definitely. And I think that also kind of goes with a cocky attitude, if we're kind of speculating that that's what this character has. Yeah, so I think that would be really fun. Yeah. And we should acknowledge, we are kind of implying this is playing a character towards type, which is very uncritical role. But
True.
We have such little else to go on. This is also kind of like, okay, if this is the character they come up with, like, unless they really sat down and said, I want to play against type of this class, we're kind of wondering, okay, which class makes the most sense to have produced this character? Because they are kind of designed to do that. Let's talk about Alexander Ward. Let's talk about Occtis.
If there was a rich boy ever I saw one,
Yes.
I think it might be this one. Or rich person, I should say. I mean, I'm so immediately, it's so hard not to draw parallels, but it's just giving such a Percy vibe. Big time, you know, even down to it gives me white stone colors kind of situation. But I am so obsessed with these little familiars.
So there's something I didn't notice until I zoomed in about this, because I've only been looking at this on social media. So there's a couple details I'm noticing. We've got the beakers on his hip, obviously, and the syringe.
Yeah.
The book reads something anatomia, so it's an like anatomical book. I also did not notice that these dogs have buttons for eyes.
Oh my god, neither did I. I just thought they were freaky little dudes.
I thought they just had like little glowing purple eyes. I did not realize they have
one of them has
they
a
have
little
Coraline eyes.
spectral tail, it looks like, unless it's just the shadowing. But they did mention, what video was that where they mentioned that both Robbie... Oh, it was the character sheet interview. I don't know, have you watched that one?
The one that came out today, I think.
Today,
yes.
it like came out like an hour ago or something. Yeah, that they both have like spectral prosthesis, these familiars, both Robbie and Alex's characters.
Yeah, so I don't know where they're seeing that, but they clearly are correct.
I thought it was maybe the tail, but...
It kind of looks like the tail's just coming out from behind his...
Yeah.
Oh, you know what? It looks like it's clipping through. It might be that the tail is going through his arm.
Oh.
I don't know. It might also just be an art gaff. I don't know. Like, it's tough to say.
No, you're right, though. I see what you mean. Yeah.
But anyway, these little guys are so interesting. I would love if this is a wizard. It could also be an artificer. Honestly, probably is an artificer, but man, I would love if this is a wizard, and not just because I love wizards and they are the best, but also because they are the best and I love them, and I want this to be one, and that's all there is to it.
And you stand by that, and it's so brave of you to really make that stand. You know?
This gives real Victor Frankenstein energy to me, especially now that I see the button eyes.
Yes, yeah. Yeah, because wizard, you obviously have your find familiar, but there's nothing to stop them from just adding familiars that they've got as well.
Yeah, I was gonna say, does the find familiar spell, you're limited to only one at a time.
Usually, but you know, who knows? And
homebrew, who knows?
Exactly, and we know Brennan is always a fan of the story over the mechanics, so he will and a lot of things.
Yes.
Yeah, artificer, it does give that vibe, but wizard could be cool. What about like what's the necromantic subclasses? Is that is that wizard?
There's not a necromancer in the
I'm thinking Baldur's Gate again.
Yeah, I mean there was in 2014. There's just not one in 2024.
Maybe he's bringing things back to life if it is kind of a Frankenstein vibe.
I know, that's what I'm kind of wondering, and that is kind of such an interesting character. I'm very curious to see more of him. I do think you probably go artificer if you're playing Victor Frankenstein. I think part of the reason this gives so much Percy energy isn't just the way that he's dressed and all that stuff, but it is like the dainty gloves as well.
Yes, the little details. Yeah.
So he's willing to do some work, but he's also gonna keep his hands clean, which is very interesting, or try to.
Yeah, I wonder what this symbol is on the familiar. This sort of infinity.
Yeah.
Sign, rune, or something. Maybe, I don't know. Oh, but they're so cute with their little
it's kind of echoed in his pocket square.
Oh, yeah.
A little bit. That feels like it could be deliberate.
Like a house crest, maybe?
It could be.
Something like that, yeah.
That's true. Is it also on his collar? I think it might also be embroidered on his collar.
Yeah.
Oh, no, it's on his cuffs as well. So we do have the double diamonds there.
Yeah.
So, yeah, there's definitely some significance to that. We'll find out. Mm-hmm. House Crest would be interesting. I would almost more think Arcane Rune.
Yeah.
And also, we have the sort of detailing on his jacket shoulders, which at first looks like it's part of the tail, but it's just the design of the jacket as well.
Yeah, like some little... Oh,
just
I
a
can't
really
wait to see
neat design.
The tailored jackets for the cosplayers.
Yeah, exactly.
Very exciting. Yeah.
Let's talk Ashley.
Yeah. There's a lot going on in this picture.
Man, I would love if this is a cleric. That would be so interesting. It could
does
also
feel that way.
Very easily could be a warlock or paladin. I mean, there's a lot of options here. I mean, anytime a character is masked, there's sort of a lot of flexibility for us to. We've got half an ear missing.
Yes, we've got something going on the face.
Yeah.
On the side.
Some sort of arcane star.
And it goes
maybe?
actually all down the hands, I'm just noticing.
You're right. Both hands.
Yeah.
Not on the leg, as far as we can tell.
Yeah. Great boots.
Great boots.
I want those. But yeah, the chains are all really interesting. My sister in my home game currently is playing like a sort of death domain cleric. I don't know if that's the actual subclass, but it has like she worships the god of death, and her whole thing is that she has chains, and every link in her chain is like somebody that she's helped shepherd to the afterlife. And so, yeah, I don't know, something about chains is just. I guess I have that theme linked in my mind, and the chainmail mask is really interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the sensor gives me cleric vibes, but the chains always make me think warlock.
Yes. Yeah.
So this could really easily go either way. And that's not two classes you would typically multi-class. It really probably is one or the other.
Unless it's a jester situation of like, why not both? It's kind of a warlock cleric situation. Right. Yeah.
Watch her wind up being like a ranger.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Or,
but yeah,
well,
really...
she's already played a barbarian. She's played a cleric. She's played a druid rogue.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I would think warlock might be really interesting. Because I know that Ashley really enjoyed playing with, when she was able to, the question of what was her dynamic like with Cord the Stormlord.
Yeah.
And so I would really not be surprised to see her playing a character who has a religious bent to her.
Yeah, especially as well with, like, we just had Misty, which had some religious overtones in Age of Umbra. So
very much so.
That's
She
the
played
thing
she's
kind of interested in.
She played a cleric in Force Grey, Giant Hunters. Like, it does seem like she wants to sort of explore this a little bit. So
yeah, but really cool character design.
Yes.
And yeah, I think cleric too is that like it almost is like a habit, you know, this kind of nun-like thing over their head, like the head covering as well, gives me.
Well, I think the veil
vibes.
is also reminiscent of that as well.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So, yeah, very interesting. Is she dark elf? We think. Must be. Hadn't really made that connection, but she's got to be a dark elf. Interesting. Oh, wait, you know what she could be? She could be a monk. I think that's a really good idea that I definitely just had right now while we're recording. Don't you agree, Luna? Oh, yeah, that's such a good point. I didn't think of it till I was editing the video. I think she's a monk. I do think Liam's a tragedy bard.
Yeah. I think it's just such an incredible fit for everything that Liam does as a role player.
That was the Liam O'Brien subclass when they introduced it, and I just came out a little bit too late for him to play him in Campaign 3. And I think I think Liam also really likes to expand on what's already been established, and so when he got to play someone who had a connection to Campaign 1, it made the most sense for him to do it through Keith. And like he said, he'd been foreshadowing that character for God, years. So that was always going to be the character that he played. But I think he's had this guy in his back pocket sort of brewing for a while. But I also think he again, worked with what he was given. What do we know? We know there was an orc uprising. Well, we have him piggybacking on that because Liam really likes to play with what is offered by the setting.
Yes.
So,
especially if it's sad.
Especially if it's sad. Yeah.
Yes.
I love the design of this character. It's very understated.
Same.
But I really like this one.
The slashed sleeves. Oh, perfection. And I'm interested in what this bandana or wrapping detail is around the bag. It feels very reminiscent of like a token, being gifted a token by somebody. And yeah,
could be.
I'm curious because it's such a different color that it feels very deliberate of like, this is something that he's been given maybe.
This is the most, just like looking at the boots, everything, this is the most Princess Bride-esque character we've gotten in a long time, and we know
Yes.
Liam is a big Princess Bride fan. So I'm just really looking forward to seeing how he's going to play with this. If we're right that he's a tragedy bard, and we are, because all of these guesses are right, as we've historically proven. That's the best. We're the best at that.
We're just oracles and just so handsome. And something that I really appreciate is as the cast is getting older, like we all are, that like the character art is reflecting that, and I just love a bit of a silver fox. I'm all about it.
I love the gray. I mean, obviously, I'm happy that he has gray in his beard and gray in his hair.
Yeah.
As someone who may want to cosplay at some point, it makes it a little easier.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love the hair of this character, and we get just enough of. We can kind of see a little bit of Liam in there, which I appreciate. So
Yeah.
now for one that I think we're all pretty confident about the guests on this one. Let's talk about Robbie. Obviously, everyone knows when they look at this one, wizard.
The way my jaw dropped when I got to this character art, I was like, oh, okay. Like, when all this character art dropped, it's like a great day to be bisexual, let me tell you. But Robbie in particular, I was like...
Yeah, that is I had a friend who was like, this is everything. Like, he was like, I love werewolves, and this is close enough that it's giving me everything I've been looking for. Yum, nom, nom. It's like, I'm very happy for you, man. He looks like he's straight out of a Conan comic. Like
100%.
Oh, now here's the thing, though. He's got the vials on his bandolier. I've been thinking ranger.
Mm-hmm.
Blood hunter?
Ooh.
Could be
interesting. Yeah. I mean, anytime you see a familiar, like, you always are going to think ranger, but
right.
Like we say, they can have a familiar without necessarily having it being a class-specific thing.
Right. Now, obviously, we've got the we just talked about that a little bit earlier, but this definitely has the phantom prosthesis and the scars across his eye, which I had initially taken, until they called it a prosthesis today, I had taken this as a sign like, oh, this is how he's reflecting the fact that in D&D 2024, rangers are not... Ranger animal companions, beast companions, are not actual animals, they're conjured spirits. So we're seeing it sort of coalescing, but they called it a prosthesis. We've got the scars across the eye. So now it's like, okay, so maybe he's not just a spirit. Maybe he actually is just a straight up wolf, which gives me the impression that this might not be a ranger. Like, kind of could be a blood hunter, potentially.
Yeah, or maybe... like a barbarian situation, because barbarians have their animal totems as well.
That's
could be
true. I don't know what
something.
the beakers are unless they are healing potions, which is possible, but I think we have 3 colors.
What is he holding as well?
That's the other interesting thing.
Because I'm like, what is that?
It is definitely some sort of, like, is it a club? Or is it an arcane implement? Because it sort of seems like an ad hoc wand or a scepter.
Yeah.
And he's got 3 different fluids. That's the reason I don't think it's healing potions in his bandolier. It's purple, orange, and green. That really gives me kind of Witcher vibes. He's also got a little bit of war paint across his face, and I don't say that to offer any detail of, like, guessing. I just think that's tight.
Yeah.
Again, we also have the gray in the hair, again, which I appreciate, and the undercut, which I think always looks good.
Yes.
And on his hip, it almost I thought was a quiver, but has the arcane runes in it. But now I'm wondering if that's not the case, and it's like just a pouch of something. Like, there's a very real possibility this is a wizard, and my stupid little joke was actually true. You know what? I'm going to lock it in. I was so confident on ranger. I'm going to lock in. This is a muscle wizard, even though I actually think it's a blood hunter.
I wonder if the vials are related to, like, arrows, like if you've got magical arrows, maybe there's something with that.
But he doesn't have a bow. That's the weird thing.
We don't see a bow, yeah.
We have this weird wand thing. Like, I think we're each entitled to one ridiculous called shot that we know is a long shot, but we feel good enough about that we're like, okay, I'm going for it, even though it's crazy. I'm going to lock in wizard, even though it seems insane to me.
You know what else? It could be druid. Could be a druid.
Could
be
druid.
A pack master of some kind.
So,
who knows?
Is it a
could be
wolf
Daddy
companion,
House and druid,
or is it a wolf form.
Ooh,
That would make my friend very happy.
I think it's got to be a companion. I don't know.
I think it's a companion because we don't have.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't have a magical prosthesis arm. Although you know what? The markings on his eye are to help him feel what the wolf felt. Like it's a reminder that what his wolf friend went through.
Oh, yeah. But also, does that wolf have a saddle? Because that's what that looks like a bit to me too.
It does look like it's a saddle, yeah. Or it's armor, but really it looks like a saddle.
So, like, is he going to be riding this wolf?
That feels crazy, but...
He's so big next to it.
It could just be armor, but... Man, how interesting. I also love this wolf. I love the fact that the wolf is licking his own face. Like, that just feels like... They did not need to do that. And it's just the perfect... It's the perfect facial expression to give him where I'm like, oh, I love him.
He's so cute. Yeah.
It's perfect.
Totally.
He's not just smiling at the camera. He's not glaring at the camera. He's just like, just chilling. He's just having his own life. Yeah, this wolf has been through serious hell. But, man, Kattigan Vale, really interesting. And even that name to me feels noble. And I'm not seeing any of that in the art unless he's from a very different noble house, which is possible.
Yeah.
But it also is just like a real good fantasy name. It could just be that. You know what? It's because the name kind of reminds me of Ratigan from The Great Mouse Detective.
Oh.
So that's why the name feels like it has some sort of family significance to me. But really good design on this character.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a Bloodhunter, but I'm going to declare Wizard, which is a crazy guess. But man, I would love it. That's my betting it all on black. Like, which is not how it works because you have a 1 out of 2 shot when you do that, which this is way less.
Now, Sam, what's going on here, Sam?
See, this is the one that I was thinking like a sea sorcerer.
Yeah, it definitely gives some sorcerer vibes. It's interesting that it has a similar kind of coloring and pattern in a way to Tyranny, to Whitney's
connection.
The sunburst, there. Maybe. I don't know. I found that kind of interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. But apparently, an earnest character who's going to stick to his values.
That is the impression I actually got from the art, and so they kind of confirmed that in the interview. Now, so there's not a sea sorcerer in the D&D 2024, but I believe that's in Taldore's guide.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, because it was like there's also the sea paladin that they put in because of Ford.
Ooh, maybe that's what I'm thinking of.
The paladin, Oath of the Open Sea, or something like that.
Yeah, you're right. It's Oath of the Open Sea. The artwork is what made me think there was a connection. Yeah,
there's definitely some like wave kind of patterns on the sort of front. What do you call that? Tabard or
whatever it is.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, again, it's like it really screams affluence. Like I think all these outfits do, but this one in particular, or like a temple.
It could be a storm cleric, which we talked about earlier. Which I still like that idea. Which again is not in 2024, but that's not insurmountable. But
yeah, are there any classes that we haven't really guessed? We haven't had any like fighter.
That's the thing. We haven't really talked about fighters other than Eldritch Knight potentially for Luiz's character.
Yeah, it does seem to be. We're leaning a lot more to spellcasting, but with Sam, it's definitely going to be a spellcaster because he said that he enjoys playing spellcasters, and that's his kind of thing. So we know for sure it's going to be a spellcaster of some kind.
I think we've guessed a lot of these categories other than like monk. I don't think we've guessed. Well, I mean, I did, and then he said paladin. Well, Travis said that in an interview, so But and I think it's also interesting how many of these are religious classes that we're like, okay, but what if they're all still religious characters?
Yeah, with the gods gone. But yeah, I think sorcerer could be really fun for Sam. Yeah.
And then that's my strongest guess is sorcerer, which it could be, but that cane is so regal and royal, which is another aspect of the character. So we'll see what happens.
And he looks human, right? Or is he?
Yeah, that's the read I'm getting as well.
Yeah. I mean, he could be a halfling.
Yeah, I think they would. Well, maybe they wouldn't have picked that
I don't
specifically
know.
in the art, because certainly with Laura's character.
Sometimes they do, yeah, and they make them shorter in the frame. But
Yeah.
like you say, Laura's is probably...
But we also
Yeah.
have different proportions on Laura than we have with Sam.
Yeah.
Which we have a much
That's
bigger
true.
head. So I think they
Yeah.
would. I don't know this artist well. The artist is incredible. Art is Lauren Huntalina and Hannah Fredericks.
Yeah, Hannah Friedrichs has done a lot of did all the campaign 3 art, sorry, and also did my profile picture on Blue Sky.
Oh, nice.
Thanks
Very
so
cool.
much, Hannah. Yeah, she watches my videos and she's like, "Here, I did a portrait of you," and I'm like, "This is the most amazing thing I've ever seen in my life."
That's awesome.
So yeah, that's by Hannah. Yeah, she's incredible. Well, yeah. Speaking of Laura, I mean,
Yeah.
this is so freaking cute. Oh my
This-
god.
This is the most adorable one to me.
Yes, and she clearly is an actual tiny fairy because she has a button on her side. She's holding what looks like a sewing needle. So
Right.
I think she is going to be legitimately tiny and not like the D&D fairy tiny where it's like they're still the size of a gnome, which
Right,
always
well-
aggravated me.
And they talked about that in the what was it? Character sheet interview they did today, which was the size.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That it will not
aspect, but
stand
yeah.
in her way of being romanced or romancing.
Yes, the sewing the pins, not even sewing
Yes.
needles, like pins for swords is so funny. But this is a rogue, and that's so interesting. She is adorable. She has the most Ferngully energy.
Yes. I love the detail of mismatched boots. That's so cute. Yeah. Everything about this is just gorgeous.
Yeah, this may be my favorite piece of art that we've seen in this whole combo. I love this art so much. I don't look at it and go like, oh, she's my new favorite. But I'm just like, man, this is such an amazing piece.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, well, we know that she's a rogue.
We know she's a
and
rogue.
a stone cold killer, as Laura described her.
We have to assume she's using poisons then, because
Yeah.
otherwise, what? how it be?
I mean, I do sew a fair bit and stab myself with my needles sometimes, but yeah, I don't think you're
I think the fact that
killing
you're still
somebody
alive sort of
necessarily.
demonstrates exactly my
Exactly.
point.
You know, unless you get a bad
Thimble.
infection and 6 months later. But yeah, Thimble, yeah, just so cute. I don't know what else to say. Yeah.
Yeah, there's
Wonder
not
what
much
kind
more.
of-
This is a speculation stream, and we already know that she's a rogue. So
Yeah, well, I
not
kind
a
of wonder what
ton to
subclass
say, but-
maybe she'll take then.
if she's a stone cold killer, my instinct is assassin, but that's exactly what Vax was, and it's also I think what she took when she leveled into rogue as Vex. And the other options are Soul Knife, Thief, and Arcane Trickster. We had Veth with the Arcane Trickster.
Yeah.
We've never had the Thief, and she is sort of, I was going to say uniquely suited for it. Well, she's good at getting into places. Can she carry things back out is another question. She has a whole bundle of string on her back, so she could be stealing things that way. She could have stolen the button.
Doesn't
And she
Thief, a lot of that has to do with like being able to scale buildings and stuff like that, right? So I feel like
doesn't apply in this case. I think you're probably right. That's
if she's
true.
a fairy, you know, maybe mechanically it might feel like a bit of a waste.
A little
I don't know.
redundant.
Yeah. But I'm super interested to see how this like size dynamic does play out actually, because I think that is the reason they didn't make fairies super small, was because it solves a lot of issues or creates new problem solving things when you have a super tiny person.
Right.
But it also poses a lot of other problems too. Like I don't know. And I'm curious how fairies fit in this world as well, because
That's
the
the main
world
thing I'm
does
wondering,
feel
too.
quite grounded, at least from what we've seen and heard, and not to say that it's not going to be fantastical, but it's just, yeah, it'll be interesting to see how fairies kind of fit into this city that we're going to be starting in.
Yeah, this is going to be... That's what the thing I'm the most wondering about is, like, how does she fit into this? Are fairies everywhere? Did she just come in? Is she the quest giver? Is she like, hey, I have to go help me with this thing in the forest? Or is she... Like, we just don't know. The other thing that I'm wondering, and, you know, we have no idea, is are these characters going to know each other beforehand? I mean, I think in every campaign there's been an assumption that most of them know someone else in the party, but they've never... I don't think they're all going to know each other. But the question is, are any of them going to already have some pairings, or is this going to be totally blank slates, which we've never seen with Critical Role, but we've seen with Dimension 20.
Yeah. I do think it makes sense for them to maybe do what they did for campaign 3, which was have sort of little pairings or groupings of people who do know each other a bit. because with such a large group, if you don't all already have some connections, there's that really, it's a big hurdle to kind of get everybody to know and trust each other.
Yeah.
And I think if you have some previous connections, it does kind of help ease that a little bit more, especially because we're not going to be seeing I think the first 4 episodes they've said is going to be all of them, if I'm remembering correctly. But after that, you know, we're only going to be seeing them once a month probably. So it's going to take time to build relationships otherwise. Yeah.
That's the question is, you know, because if anyone was going to be up for that challenge, I do think it's Brennan.
Yeah.
This, you know, he knows the actual play format really well. He's likes to play with that format. I would not be surprised if they were all blank slates to each other and he found some way to sort of weave them in and out, but it's all speculation at this point. So
it does sound like we're maybe kicking off in a prison based on the little dramatic read from Brennan over the trailer, because he talks about being in a prison and, you know, maybe I'm going to die tomorrow, which sounds like an execution. So it's like, I don't know. Are we going to meet some characters who are in the prison? Are they going to be the prison guards or keepers or whatever? Like, I don't know. That's kind of...
Or is the prison break the inciting incident? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So...
Well, we'll find out tomorrow if I edited this video the time I expect to.
I fully believe in you.
Luna, thank you so much for coming on here. And you got, by the way, you get one more, because I took my shot, my crazy shot with Robbie the Wizard. Do you want one that's real shot in the dark, probably wrong, but you feel good about it anyway?
I don't know. Well, no, because I think everything we've talked about sounds really reasonable.
Exactly. If you free yourself from that expectation and allow yourself to go crazy in the...
Sure. All right, let's go Alex as a barbarian. And he sets his little puppies on you. There you go.
All right. You heard it here first. If Luna is right...
Can you imagine?
And Alex is a barbarian, or if I'm right and Robbie is a wizard, you got to give us our flowers.
Yes.
You know.
Absolutely.
Thanks so much for hanging out today, and we're going to be watching Campaign 4, and we hope you join us, and we're not like going to be collaborating on content about it necessarily every week. I don't have that sort of time. But so it's insane to me that Luna puts out videos about episodes like the week they come out. It's crazy. But
well, I'm just so happy we got to do this, because we've literally been talking about doing a video together, I think, for actual years now. So it's fun, and hopefully we are going to do another one like relatively soon on my channel. So
yes,
fingers crossed we can make that work.
Exactly. So we will see you soon. And in the meantime, go subscribe to Luna. Up
Yay.
There, probably.
Wherever it is.
Or there. I don't know.
I
don't know if what I'm looking at is flipped.
You guys know how to work YouTube. Just search Luboffin. That's me. You'll find me.
Alrighty.